This all begins at around 5 o'clock tonight when one of our juvenile homes, which is a complete failure and a disgrace to the juvenile justice system in the state of Florida, a place called Fumpsh, a 12-year-old who is a severe diabetic who has to have insulin every 4 hours, runs away. And he runs away with a 14-year-old. That 14-year-old that he runs away with, you may remember, over the last year or so, stole a bunch of puppies, gets put into a halfway house in Flagler County, burns the home down. So what do? They send her to Volusia County because the juvenile justice system works so well here in the state of Florida. So now they're reported missing. So the deputies in the Deltona area go out looking for this 12-year-old and this 14-year-old because the 12-year-old is insulin dependent, and the 12-year-old, if he doesn't get his medication within 4 hours, it's going to be a critical medical emergency. So every time the deputies encounter these two little desperados, they run from us. So at around 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight, deputies are out on the bike trail behind this home when a passerby flags them down and says, I happen to hear a bunch of breaking glass at a home. So the deputies walk up to the home. They discover that there's forced entry to the home. And the amazing thing is they don't do what I would have done. I would have walked in because I have an eyewitness telling me two juveniles just forced their way into the home. They take a step back and contact the homeowner and say, should anybody have access to your home? As resources are pouring in to surround the property, the homeowner says, nobody should be home, but I have 3 firearms in the house, an AK-47, a pump shotgun, and a handgun, and 200 rounds of ammunition. So as deputies are surrounding the home and try to establish a rapport, they are met with gunfire. And they're not met with gunfire once. They're not met with gunfire twice. They're met with gunfire multiple times. At 8:28, one of my sergeants, who was the first to arrive, Sergeant Donnie Maxwell, takes fire multiple times, never returns fire. At 8:31, one of our units reports they're being fired at by the 12 and the 14-year-old. At 8:33, another call comes out from another group of deputies surrounding the home saying that shots were fired. At 8:40, the 14-year-old emerges from the property and threatens to kill Sergeant Maxwell. At 8:54, the juvenile male armed with an AK-47 opens fire on deputies. Eventually, after all this goes on and we try to de-escalate, we throw a cell phone into the house to try to talk to them, the 14-year-old comes out of the garage with a pump shotgun, levels it at deputies, and despite warnings to drop it, she walks back into the garage. She comes back a second time, and that's when deputies open fire after taking multiple rounds. After they wound her, they automatically transition to try to save her life. Apply tourniquets, get first aid in here. They confront the 12-year-old who is still armed with the AK-47 in the garage. After about 30 seconds, he decides to drop the firearm. I don't know what to say. Where have we gone wrong that 12-year-old and 14-year-old think it's okay to take on law enforcement? What the hell is the Department of Juvenile Justice doing sending these kids to places that can't handle them? We talk about juvenile justice reform. Deputies did everything they could tonight to de-escalate, and they almost lost their lives to a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. If it wasn't for their training and their supervision, like I said earlier, I would have walked right into that house. Hey, 2 teenagers, 2 kids broke into a home, I'm going to go in and arrest them. Somebody would have ended up dead. So I don't know what more to say. You know, we'll release the body camera footage tomorrow. The information that I gave you tonight is preliminary. It's based on radio transmissions. It's based on computer dispatch calls, and it's based on the original supervisors that showed up at the scene. I don't know where we get the men and women that respond to these incidents to do what they do, and do it with bravery, do it with courage, and do it with trying to protect the sanctity of the human life. But they took rounds, multiple rounds, before they were left with no other choice but to return fire. And again, a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. So for all the faith groups out there who want to tell me about civil citations and we don't have violent juveniles, keep something in mind. This Fump's home several weeks ago, one of their students beat to death one of the counselors. We've been out to this location 289 times in 2020 for various incidents. And the Department of Juvenile Justice consistently is sending kids that need to be in secure facility into our communities. And tonight, thankfully, I have deputies who are going home to their families because they knew what to do, they were well trained, and they were well supervised. Can you imagine the firepower in that home in the hands of 12 and 14-year-olds that want to threaten, they open fire on us and then come out and defy us to shoot them because they're going to kill deputies. This is something I've never seen in 35 years of policing, and I'm sad to say, thank God my career is starting to come to an end, because I don't know what the future of law enforcement looks like in this country. They want to defund us, they want to sanction us and take qualified immunity away, they want to make us the bad guy, and yet you have 12 and 14-year-old thugs that want to shoot it out. And you haven't seen this crime scene yet. The deputies had nowhere to hide but trees. There was no cover other than their vehicles and a tree. And any of you that are listening to me know an AK-47 is going through an engine block, it's going through a car, and it's going through your bulletproof vest.